This is the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Jay Banky. The Cavs have put on, an unexpected year. They won 44 games a year after only winning 22, so they doubled their win total. They're 44-38. It seemed a little bit more promising as the year went on, so we kind of dug a little deep into that. I think we need to take a step back and look at, from perspective, what we expected out of this team, and this is what we wanted. We wanted them to get into the play-in to have a chance to get to the playoff series.
We wanted what Phoenix did a few years back. They got in that play-in series.
Memphis.
They didn't do, and they didn't do all that well, but the next year, Phoenix is in the finals.
Right.
That little bit of experience helped. They got a key veteran, I think, in Chris Paul, and they took off.
Yeah, you got two examples. You got Phoenix in the bubble, and then you got Memphis the next year with Ja Morant, and look at them take off and be more...
Good to see him come back today.
Right, and be more solidified towards the top of the Western Conference. Even when Ja went out towards the end of the year...
Oh, they were still balling, dude.
They were still balling because now they all had that experience, and they all understood, the lessons that the Cavs have, they're going to be able to take into next year, but we don't want this year to end. We don't. Now... I'll ask you, I think the biggest question with this team is we know that the Nets are going to be heavily favored in the playing game on Tuesday. But the Cavs, by getting the 8 seed today, are not out. They get a chance to then, if they were to lose, which we don't want them to do, of course, but if they were to lose, because we won't be able to have a chance to talk about this, we're not doing a show next week with the holiday. If they lose, they can come home and host the winner of the 9-10, and I think that 9-10 seed has got to beat the current 8 seed 2 times to get the 8 seed over them. I believe is how that works. If it's wrong, please comment in the live chat below. We'll keep talking about it. Jay, the question for you is, would you rather see them just get the experience than 2 play-in games and then, keep their pick because they would still be in the lottery
I
if
don't
they
want
don't
that
make
pick.
Or do you want to make a playoff
That
series?
was too easy.
Even if, and I feel like we're on the same page with this, but I still have to add the caveat. Even if they were to get swept in that playoff series, if they make it,
Don't care.
Okay.
I'm not worried about lottery picks no more with the Cavs, dude. I don't care. I think we have the squad. I was telling you this earlier today on the phone. If the Cavs were fully healthy right now, I think they could take anyone in this league, East or West, don't matter. Bring them on. We just got hit with the injury bug way too bad this year. So I just want the guys that are here get as much experience as possible. And if you get swept, I hope that leaves a bitter taste in your mouth and you work your butt off on the offseason to get better and come into the playoffs next year and not be in those play-in. This year was just getting the play-in, possibly getting the playoffs. I want next year to make a run in the playoffs and then grow from that and keep growing and keep going.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing now that you get to play the Nets again a couple days later, with one game in between, is there was a playoff emphasis on that game in Brooklyn. So now you have something to even harken back to and a lesson that you learned very recently, so it's fresh in your mind that you can take into your preparation when you watch film of that game and prepare. How do you want to prepare just strictly for the Nets, as if it's a game 7, the last game of the year, potentially your last game of the year? How do you prep for them? Well, now you have actual in-game experience of, look, we only scored 19 points in the first quarter. We only scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. We were up 5 going from the third to the fourth quarter, and we allowed KD and Kyrie, which they are known to do. They have a lot of experience, and it's going to be a tough test because they're going to get the bulk of the work. I was listening to the post-game show for the Cavs coming in, after beating Milwauke's B or C team today.
Thanks for the win, Milwaukee.
Yeah, thanks for the win.
So gimme win.
Solidify the 8 seed. But, driving in, they don't have as deep of a bench or as, kind of as many guys that are able to play and impact the game as maybe the Cavs do and defend as well. And they don't defend consistently, do the Nets. KD and Kyrie are going to get the attention, and they can handle that pressure and they can get the job done for the Nets. What can the Cavs do as a team to get it done? Well, number one, you got to hope that Jared Allen can come back and there's not that much rust.
Please come back. Let him come back.
Right, but that's also a difficult thing because he didn't get a chance to play in the regular season and get a little bit of that rust off. He was working on his left hand today before the game.
At least he can run with his hand being hurt. At least he could still run and keep somewhat in shape. It's not exactly in game shape, but I guarantee you that the way that guy works, he was working his butt off to stay in his best shape as he could.
Right.
So when it's time, he can come in and just go. And his game's not predicated on like getting his shot and getting a groove. He's a rebounder, a defender, and get that ball and dunk that thing. So I could see him coming in and just going right, picking up where he left off too.
So my question to you before the break, though, was how do you see this actually going? We know what we want to happen. How does this go starting Tuesday night?
Oh, man, I don't know, man. They're so hard to predict right now because, like, with the injuries, like, if Allen can come back, I think they can go on a little run. But without him, their defense lacks because you could see, like, their perimeter defense is trash without those both big men out there. It's because they could sell out on that three and guard it, and if they go past them on a fake, it's like, all right, I got Mobley and Allen behind there protecting me, which made their play better defense. Man, I don't know what to say.
I know.
With you.
This is part of the reason why I don't predict. It's not just superstitions. It's how do I put this? It's the fact that making predictions is difficult. Like those that do sports betting and or get into it when Ohio becomes officially legal and they make money off it because they're really good at it with the luck and stuff. More power to you, because I know that that's not my avenue, and I hope that it doesn't.
Part of my problem is I'm very confused on these new playoffs still.
Yeah.
I don't understand the plan. If we're playing Brooklyn first?
We're playing Brooklyn first, yes.
And if we win, I don't know who we play. And if we lose, I don't know who we play.
If we win the game against Brooklyn, we are in and we take over the 7th seed.
Okay, and if we lose, we play the winner of Charlotte and Atlanta.
Yes. And
so if I had to guess, I hate to say this. God, I hate saying this. But I'd say we'll probably lose.
To Brooklyn.
Yeah. But I think we could beat the other two teams.
Absolutely. Brooklyn was the one team you didn't want to see, but they messed around all year long, too. And
I mean, we could beat them. I don't care.
Even when KD and Kyrie came back, they still had issues. They're still a beatable team, and they are so inconsistent, so you got to be able to play on that.
And they're both made of glass, so...
I think that the problem for the Cavs defensively has been that teams have actually seen that they can drive to the basket a little bit more without that length around the basket. So they get a little bit of rhythm, see the ball go through the hoop. Now they start swinging around the perimeter. Now the perimeter defense looks terrible because guys are in a rhythm. They're knocking down the outside shot, and that's exactly what you don't want for Kyrie and KD. That's where they make their money, is around the three-point line. They can get to the hole, and they are aggressive getting to the hole. They'll get people in foul trouble. Once they get a little rhythm,
that's what I was saying. Like, Allen is such a huge difference maker on our defense.
He's a huge difference. So even if Allen comes back, I know it's going to be a difficult task. I would love for the Cavs to win. They just got to get one win out of these next couple games. They gave themselves two chances. Two chances to get a win, basically, is what Kevin Love said after the game. You got to take advantage and get in and get that kind of experience. At the very least, get some experience and then see where it goes from there. So we are going to bring in our guests right now at this time to see what they may think. I know that we have one of the two hosts currently on Zoom joining us. It is Ryan from the Rumpus Room Revival alongside Derek. And
we're
Ryan,
still trying to find Derek somewhere. He's lost.
Yeah, we're still trying to find him. But Ryan, thank you so much for taking some time and joining us here tonight.
Hey, how you guys doing? I appreciate coming on.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to talk some baseball with you guys here in this segment, but the Cavs have been a story that we've all kind of had our eyes open to this year. How do you see this play-in tournament going? Can they make a playoff series? Do you even want them to make a playoff series, or you want, play-in experience, keep the pick?
I mean, they're dangerous. I don't think people want to play them because they're unpredictable. So, I mean, I think if Jared Allen can somehow get back and be effective, I mean, they're a scary team. They're a scary team, and I don't think anybody that's in the playoffs, if we win the play-in, that are going to want, that they think they just won, and they're going to play this team. So I would say, I mean, again, like APJ said, it's a fickle thing. It depends on what team shows up.
There he is.
If you get, there we go.
Yeah. He's still connecting the audio, so we'll get him in here in 1 second. But, I mean, you said it perfectly there, Ryan. The Cavs are an unpredictable team, and if Jared Allen comes back and is playing where he can play at least defensively and give you some offensively, and this team can look similar to when they were fighting for a 1 seed in the East.
Oh, yeah.
No team's going to want to face this team.
No, they don't want to play because then even let's just say, okay, if they win the play-in, like most likely, it's probably with an experience and the injuries, they're probably not going to win the series. But there's no team that wants to go the distance with that either.
Right. There is no team that wants to go the distance with that. And we also bring in your co-host, Derek West, of course, also from the Rumpus Room Revival. People may recognize him from some TikTok videos from Brown's Twitter. But
this is Derek, not Topher.
Yeah, right?
They may look a lot alike, but they're actually different people, I swear.
Two completely different people.
Yeah, completely different.
Derek, I mean, just your thoughts on this Cavs team, kind of as we kind of wrap up the Cavs, switch over to the Guardians. Where do you see this play-in tournament going?
First of all, sorry for being late. Thank you for having me. It's like it's a horrible way for me to show up is late.
Right.
But
you showed up like the water boy at halftime.
Late from across the house.
Yeah, so somehow, but yeah, dude, they've been explosive, or they started off explosive during the first half of the year. I think it was a shock. I was talking to some people a couple weeks ago, and everyone was sort of like, are there any playoff expectations here? And everyone sort of said, well, no, but we didn't come into this season with any playoff expectations, right? So I think it's one of those things at this point, anything that happens beyond those expectations are, hey, that's great, you know what I mean? And let's sort of see how far this team could go. I'd love to see what they could do healthy, obviously. I think that sort of goes without saying.
I think they lost their way a little bit too when they, it's not an excuse. You always got that next man up mentality, but this team has gone through so many different injury things throughout the year that it's.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Whatever you get out of this year, now that you're in the play-in tournament, I mean, no one's going to give them a chance against the Nets, so they can go back to being that team at the start of the year. Like, why not us? Like, let's go play our brand of basketball. Let's just get back to that. And just go have fun playing a kid's game, getting paid to do it, and let's see what we can do in the playoff run. Now,
I mean, it'd be the most Cleveland thing.
It would
ever.
It honestly would. It honestly would.